Thank you, Uzma. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the honor of inviting Her Excellency Grace Fu, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment and Minister in charge of Trade Relations of Singapore, to deliver her address. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, distinguished guests, many ministers around the table, warmly welcome everyone to Singapore. Mr. President, congratulations for such a beautiful plan and presentation. The beautiful images just made me want to put down everything and hop onto the next flight to your country. It's really impressive plans, and I'm sure many of us sitting around the table here in Singapore would very much like to explore the business opportunities with you. It is with great pleasure that I welcome President Muiz and members of your delegation to Singapore. This year marks a significant milestone as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Singapore and the Maldives. Singapore deeply values our long-standing friendship with the Maldives. As fellow small island states, we share many commonalities. First, we are highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Second, we have limited natural resources. And third, we depend heavily on our trade partners for food and other essential needs. These shared experiences have shaped the way we approach development and international engagement. Our two countries have long supported each other on the global stage. As a member of the Alliance of Small Island States, the Forum of Small States, and close partners at the UNFCCC, Singapore and the Maldives have worked hand in hand to advocate for small states on climate and sustainability, among other issues. The close ties between our people and businesses are another key pillar in our partnership. Singapore companies from the hospitality sector have been long-standing investors in the Maldives, with 50 Maldivian companies have established a presence in Singapore. The Maldivian government's efforts to promote investments through this forum will further strengthen our partnership and open new avenues for collaboration between our businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now living in a world marked by uncertainty. Geopolitical tensions, economic headwinds, and climate change continue to test our resilience. At times like this, Singapore hopes to work with like-minded partners to strengthen cooperation and chart paths forward together. I'm heartened to see that President Muiz's Vision 2040 echoes similar priorities like promoting market access and creating an enabling business environment. Singapore and the Maldives can collaborate more closely to promote investments and jointly tackle the existential challenge of climate change. First, there is strong potential for Singapore and Maldivian companies to pursue win-win partnerships. Singapore's strength in areas like infrastructure development, urban planning, digital services can support the Maldives in its journey towards a more diversified economy. Second, we look forward to deepening cooperation on climate and sustainability. Both Maldives and Singapore are firmly committed to advancing the global climate agenda. We are among the few countries that have submitted our updated nationally determined contributions for 2035. As of last month, only 21 countries, or 11% of all parties, have done so. On Singapore's part, we have been supporting our industries in the low-carbon transition by providing grants to improve energy efficiency and developing sectoral maps to guide each sector's efforts towards net zero. Happy to note that we signed an MOU on sustainability and environmental cooperation yesterday, paving the way for greater knowledge exchanges and collaboration. As we celebrate 50 years of diplomatic relations, let us look ahead and work towards another 50 years of strong partnership. To our Singapore business leaders, I urge you to work with partners in the Maldives to explore new opportunities for collaboration. To our government counterparts, we welcome further dialogue on how to bring our businesses and people closer together. As a friend of the Maldives, Singapore will continue to be a productive partner in pursuit of shared goals for growth and prosperity. In closing, I would like to thank the organizers, the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Maldives, as well as the Singapore Business Federation for supporting the forum. This has been a valuable opportunity for our officials and businesses to engage meaningfully and strengthen the bonds between our countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we now move to a very special part of today's program, the honors ceremony. This year marks 5 decades of enduring friendship and collaboration between the Maldives and Singapore. Along this journey, a number of remarkable individuals and organizations have helped in this story of progress, growth, and shared success. Today is a moment to recognize and celebrate those whose vision, dedication, and leadership have made a lasting contribution to the Maldives. Building strong commercial partnerships and supporting national development across key sectors from tourism and trade to technology and sustainability. Their impact has been both deep and wide. These honorees are innovators, pioneers, and change makers, and their legacy continues to inspire future generations. It is now my great pleasure to present the names of these distinguished honorees whose contribution have helped shape the Maldives' development landscape over the past 50 years. May I now invite to the stage His Excellency Dr. Mohammad Muiz, President of the Republic of Maldives, and His Excellency Mohammad Said, Minister of Economic Development and Trade, will accompany the President to the stage. Begin with the announcement of individual honorees. Order of the Distinguished Rule of Izzuddin, late Mr. Ali Umar Manik. Receiving the award on behalf of the family is Mr. Qasim Abdullah. Order of the Dignified Rule of Khalafan, the late Hussein Abdullah Maharishi Hussein Khalagafan. Receiving the award on behalf of his family is Dr. Irfan Ahmad, nephew of late Hussein Abdullah. Ahmad Didi. Receiving the award on behalf of the family is his son, Mr. Muhammad Ahmad. Late Muhammad Adam Manik, Sarang Muhammad Khalagafan. Receiving the award on behalf of the family is Mr. Adli Rashid. Muhammad Yusuf, Kua Muhammad Yusuf. Receiving the award on behalf of the family is his eldest son, Mr. Ahmad Rashid. receiving the award on his behalf is his son, Mr. Abdullah Saleh. Ali Ahmad Minage Kudatutsu, receiving the award on his behalf is Ms. Agisa Abdullah. Malla Ahmad Nasir. We will confer the award to the recipient later. Muhammad Shahdi Anwar, receiving the award on his behalf is Mr. Zain Shahid. Muhammad Ali Jana. Mr. Shoaib Shah. Mr. Kenneth Pereira. I will now proceed to announce the names of the companies receiving the recognition awards. Singapore Airlines, the award will be received by the Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing of Singapore Airlines, Mr. Vinod Kannan. State Trading Organization, STO, the award will be received by the Chairman of the State Trading Organization, Mr. Amir Mansoor. Singapore Airport Terminal Services Private Limited, the award will be received by the Senior Vice President of SATS, Mr. Goh Siang Han. Pontiac Land Group, the award will be received by the CEO of Pontiac Land Group, Mr. David Sang. John Slang LaSalle, JLL, the award will be received by the Executive Vice President, Mr. Julian Nari. Bonwest Holdings Limited, the award will be received by the Director, Mr. Stephen Long. CDL Hospitality Trust, the award will be received by the CEO, Mr. Vincent Yeo. Villa Group, the award will be received by the CEO, Mr. Ibrahim Siad Qasim. Chamba Brothers Private Limited, the award will be received on behalf of the company by Mr. Ahmad Nazir. Hotel Properties Limited, the award will be received by VP Business Development Asset Management, Mr. Gan KL. Kyung Hong Holdings Limited, award will be received by the CEO, Mr. Owen Zhu. Crescendas Group, the award will be received by the Managing Director of Canary Resorts, Mr. Tiong Keh Min. Banyan Group, the award will be received by Director of Sales and Marketing at Angsana Velavar, Ms. Judy Ong. Mr. Malla Ahmad Nasir. Thank you, Excellency President. We would now like to acknowledge the award recipients who are unable to join us today. These awards will be conferred in absentia: SC Capital, Chip and Sang, DBS Bank, UOB, OCBC, Universal Group, Chiutang Group, late Diddu Ibrahim Khalegafan, late Adam Shukri, Mr. Muhammad Wahiddin, Mr. Hassan Zahir, and Mr. Ismail Hilmi. Let us give a warm round of applause to the recipients. We now proceed to a major highlight of the day, the signing of a strategic agreement that directly supports His Excellency President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's Vision 2040. The services contract between the Government of Maldives and Henley and Partners, the global leader in citizenship and residency by investment, marks a major milestone as the Maldives embarks on its first ever initiative of this kind. Anchored in Vision 2040, which sets out clear priorities to diversify the economy and unlock new engines of growth, this program is designed to attract high net worth individuals to our shores, driving a new era in estate investment while generating benefits across tourism, services, and the broader economy.
The wealthiest, the most successful people are generally international.
The world is becoming an ever volatile, ever changing place, changing much faster than it did before. There's a class of person out there now who's actually rapidly adapting to the changing environments.
The world is moving to global citizens.
Henley & Partners is a unique firm that is addressing the needs of this global citizen.
Like so many times in life, you don't get aware of the need until you really ended up in a situation, then it's too late.
It's quite useful to have just options.
Ultimately, quality of life, education, mobility, security, and tax. In this international and global world that we're in, these are the tools you want.
Truly the ultimate symbol of freedom.
Yes, being free.
It's the ability to live where you want, travel where you want, raise your kids where you want, and not subject your family to the fate of where you happen to be born. You actually get to choose.
I find that Henley & Partners are a professional company, but they're also very approachable.
Very open communication. It's like you know somebody for 30 years.
Always starts with an initial meeting where we really establish whether we are the right people to deal with and whether the client is right for us.
Well, from the point of view of the clients, and I've heard this from so many of their clients, the word family just comes up over and over again. It doesn't feel so much like going and talking to a professional services firm. It feels like a family.
And what we found is when we turn to Henley & Partners is we get the answers right away, and it's straightforward, and the timelines are condensed dramatically, and that gives us very much a sense of comfort that we're in good hands and we're with people who know what they're doing. It's a fantastic kind of all-encompassing service that you get when you come to Henley & Partners.
They know what they're doing. They're professional, efficient, courteous.
They are providing a true service to these global high net worth individuals that are concerned about taxes, concerned about their freedom, concerned about the safety of their family.
And that's what Henley & Partners offers our clients, and that's what Henley & Partners helps create and construct for governments. The fact that they have so much experience actually working with governments to set up these investor schemes means, A, that they understand them back to front, because they've designed many of them themselves. I mean, they're there working with the governments to create them.
Henley & Partners is really the firm that created this industry, pioneering many of these programs.
I'm not aware of any other company that has the knowledge of both sides of the equation so deeply, so intimately, that they can really claim to be experts on both sides. That's what Henley & Partners does, and we do it very well.
I would like to now invite to the stage His Excellency Mohammed Saeed, Minister of Economic Development and Trade, and Mr. Philip Amaranti, Managing Partner, Henley & Partners, Middle East, for the signing. Thank you, Minister Saeed, and thank you, Mr. Amaranti. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now witness the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Finance and Planning of the Republic of Maldives and the Singapore Cooperation Enterprise. I would like to kindly call upon stage His Excellency Musa Zamir, Minister of Finance and Planning, and Mr. Tay Lian Chu, Deputy Chief Executive Officer for Singaporean Cooperation Enterprise. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mr. Chu. Honorable guests, next on our agenda is the signing of the landmark investment agreement for the 100-megawatt floating solar project, the first project for which a permit has been issued under the Special Economic Zones framework. This project supports His Excellency President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's pledge to generate 33% of the country's electricity needs from renewable sources by 2028. To sign this agreement, I would like to invite on stage, on behalf of the Government of Maldives, Minister of Tourism and Environment, His Excellency Tariq Ibrahim, and Mr. James Coulter, ED Managing Director of Abraxas Power Maldives APM SPV Private Limited. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mr. Edie. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Halil, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Maldives, to deliver his remarks.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And a very good morning to you all. President, His Excellency Dr. Mohammad Moiz, Her Excellency Grace Fu Hai Yen, Minister for Sustainability and Environment and Minister in charge of Trade Relations of Singapore, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to you all. Let me begin by commending His Excellency the President for his visionary insights, which highlight our nation's forward-looking path and the vital role partnership will play in driving our next phase of economic transformation. At the outset, I would like to express my appreciation for the opportunity to be part of this important and meaningful platform, one to foster deeper economic transformation and integration. This year is a significant year in our partnership. It is a year we celebrate a milestone that speaks volumes about the power of enduring partnership between both nations. 50 years ago, the Maldives and Singapore formalized diplomatic ties, a bond forged in the early days of our independence, rooted in mutual respect and common aspirations. Our nations joined the United Nations on the same day in 1965. That shared moment in history was not just symbolic. It was the beginning of a journey marked by trust, collaboration, and a shared commitment to global peace and progress. Over the last half-century, Maldives-Singapore ties have evolved from cordial friendship into a dynamic economic engine. Trade that once centered on basic commodities now spans aviation, hospitality, logistics, digital services, and green technology. As evident from today's recognition segment, just now we have witnessed here, we can dwell on many success stories of Singaporean investments in the Maldives. These ventures have created jobs, transferred skills, and crucially helped both our small states. In fact, Maldives is a large ocean state, as our president has been saying, punched far above our geographic weight in global markets. Having journeyed through 50 years of shared progress, we are ready to elevate our engagement for deeper economic cooperation, innovation-driven growth, and partnerships that create value for both our people and the region. This momentous state visit by President Dr. Mohammad Moiz stands as a testament of our commitment and open a significant chapter in our strategic partnership. As presented here today, President Dr. Moiz's administration is determined to unlock a new tiers of opportunities. Our revitalized Special Economic Zone framework offers end-to-end infrastructure, single window clearance, and tax incentives for high value projects in data localization, biopharma, and marine innovation. Complementing this is the new Foreign Investment Act, as our Economic Minister has just now highlighted here, modeled on best practice, which guarantees transparent dispute resolutions and repatriation of profits. Taken together, they provide a stable and predictable environment for investors. But policy alone is never enough. Partnerships power progress. We therefore invite Singapore's private sector to co-create in priority areas. As we celebrate 5 decades of diplomatic friendship, let us set our sights on the next 50 years of economic co-creation, transforming resilience into competitiveness and shared values into shared prosperity. Together, Maldives and Singapore can demonstrate that small states, when united by trust and vision, are capable of truly outsized impact. I thank you all.
Thank you, Excellency. The next segment is the high-level panel discussion, From Foundation to Future, Deepening Investment Partnerships in the Maldives. This session brings together leading voices in business and government to explore the evolving investment landscape and future opportunities in the Maldives. To guide today's conversation, I am pleased to invite our moderator to the stage, Ms. Nuha Mohammad Riza, Chief Executive Officer of Invest Maldives. I now invite our distinguished panelists to join Ms. Nuha on stage. His Excellency Tariq Ibrahim, Minister of Tourism and Environment. Mr. David Sang, Chief Executive Officer, Pontiac Land Group. Mr. Ibrahim Siad Qasim, Chief Executive Officer, Villa Group. Mr. Thomas Adama, Managing Director, Ariel Bank, Asia. Mr. Khalid Hassan Al-Hamadi, Chief Executive Officer, Ooredoo. Ms. Noha, the stage is yours.
Excellency President, Cabinet Ministers, distinguished guests, and our esteemed panelists, a very good morning to you all. It is my privilege to welcome you to this high-level discussion as we celebrate 50 years of commercial and economic relations between the Maldives and Singapore. Today, we bring together the Minister of Tourism and Environment, along with 4 seasoned business leaders who have each contributed significantly to the development journey of the Maldives. A very warm welcome to you all. Please join me in introducing the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Taurik Ibrahim, Mr. David Zhang, CEO of Pontiac Land Group, the leading developer behind the largest hospitality project in the Maldives, Fari Islands, comprising of Patina Maldives and the Ritz-Carlton, Mr. Siad Qasim, the Managing Director of the Villa Group, one of the leading business conglomerates in the Maldives with their business ranging from tourism, shipping, and trading. Mr. Thomas Adamer, Managing Director of Ariel Bank, a long-term development partner and financing partner of the Maldives, who has been lending into the tourism industry for close to 20 years now. And Mr. Khalid Al-Hamadi, the CEO of Ooredoo Maldives, a company that believed in the potential of the Maldives beyond tourism and is now driving nationwide connectivity and digitization. With that, let us begin the discussion for today. Our title is From Foundation to Future, which explores long-term investment partnerships in the Maldives, what has worked, what has changed, and what lies ahead, of course, in the eyes of our speakers here today. I would like to begin the discussion with my first question to you, Mr. Zhang. What made the Maldives stand out as a destination worth long-term investments? And are there any assumptions which changed significantly as you started on the ground with the Fari Islands project? Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think as everyone has seen from the visuals, what's there not to like about the Maldives? It's a beautiful destination. When we first looked at it, we considered it a very special place. A very unique place that has just unparalleled natural beauty, and also the privacy and exclusivity of being able to create something on a unique private island. These are two strong foundations to be able to create something that is of luxury and privacy that is very hard to replicate out there. For us, we think that the Maldives is a really unique canvas for us to import our values of design excellence, sustainability, and community to create something different in the Maldives. We became involved with Fari Islands only in 2015, so we weren't one of the early pioneers. And when we started looking at the project, there was a lot of very strong attributes already established. There was already very good tourism infrastructure. There was a young population that was being trained to do tourism and perform at a high level. And there was strong government support, behind tourism as one of the main key pillars for the country. What excited us was looking ahead at the growth of the Maldives and the growth of tourism in the Maldives and how we thought it would evolve. Up to that point, I would say a lot of the tourism in the Maldives was more about couples and a very popular destination for honeymooners to go. But we saw that that would evolve over time. We saw that it would not be a destination that people went once or twice in their life. We thought about how to create something that would be a place that people would go to regularly, that it would not only be these couples and honeymooners, but as they started establishing their families, would want to bring their families back to have the same experience. So we really widened the outlook of what was possible, started expanding into creating something that was also more family, multi-generational, and also with an idea that even further down the line, we could create something that would be a center for conferences, for forums, for interesting dialogues that were really relevant to the Maldives, climate change and sustainability being two of those pillars. So for us, it was tremendous potential. and great government support. And our ambition was to really try to add value and create a larger scale project instead of just one island, one resort, to be developed 4 islands and have 3 world-class destinations within 1 lagoon that would have privacy and exclusivity, but would also have connectivity amongst the resorts if you wanted slightly different experience. So we believe with that would help create a next generation of tourism and travel to the Maldives, and that's really what excited us.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. As you would understand, for really large-scale projects like the Faroe Islands, financing is very important. I would like to pose this next question to Mr. Adama, who has been active in the Maldives, as I mentioned before, for the past 20 years. So what are the most notable changes you've seen in the Maldives in terms of project bankability and institutional engagement over the time you have been lending to the Maldives?
Well, we started with the first financing in the Maldives in 2006, and it was a pleasure to see Mr. Nazir in the audience and saying hello to him. That was the start. We trusted a local company, and that's how we developed over the years. What I have seen over the last couple of years is an institutionalization of the market, where you see not only Maldivian players in the market, but also foreign private equity funds. There are names like Blackstone, KSL, Ares. We have worked with all of them. And we have seen that the liquidity trading resorts has also increased massively. And the Maldives is probably one of the most liquid markets in trading of resorts in the Indian Ocean. What we need for our business, and that's we're very thankful to the Ministry of Tourism, is your support, because you hold the mortgages for the bank, which are important for us to finance. So we have seen vast improvement in terms of liquidity, government support, and the 180 resorts you have are a solid base to continue development.
Thank you, Mr. Adama. We've just heard from Mr. Zhang and Mr. Adama of the changes that has happened over time. I would like to invite Minister Thorik for some policy perspective. In terms from a policy standpoint, what are some of the initiatives and priorities that the government is rolling out to deliver a more conducive and secure investment environment for foreign investors?
Thank you. From the policy perspective, our largest priority and the biggest priority has been to create a liberal, transparent, and future-ready investment environment in the Maldives. Today, the Maldives allows 100% foreign ownership in key sectors like tourism, large-scale real estate, and energy sector. And this is a clear and intentional signal from our openness to long-term strategic investors. We believe that enabling the full foreign investment participation in these sectors not only attracts capital, but also brings knowledge and technology and partnership that supports sustainable national growth. Also, to complement it, we have enacted a new foreign investment law that aligns with international best practices. This updated legal framework offers greater clarity and consistency. It also facilitates the implementation of bilateral investment treaties, including the one with Singapore that is now nearing finalization. This treaty will actually provide Singapore investors with protections that go beyond domestic laws, giving added insurance and reinforcing the confidence in choosing the Maldives as a reliable investment destination. In parallel, we are digitalizing the key aspects of our business environment, from approvals and registration to access to public services, to ensure that setting up and operating businesses in the Maldives is simpler, faster, and more predictable. Moving on, perhaps the most important most importantly, this government is focused on providing long-term visibility to investors. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's Vision 2040 lay out a very clear forward-looking roadmap for the Maldives, centered on diversification, resilience, and sustainable development. So these are the key areas that the 2040 vision by the President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. For investors, the clarity of direction is invaluable. It means that long-term business plans can align confidently with national priorities and contribute meaningfully to the country's future. Moving on, specifically on the tourism sector, I should note that tourism is the backbone of our economy, contributing nearly 30% of our GDP and over 60% of our foreign exchange earnings. In 2024, the Maldives welcomed over 2 million tourists, and 8.9% increase from 2023. With continued growth, the expansion of Velana International Airport will increase the capacity to 7.5 million passengers annually. Additionally, we are also investing in and upgrading in international airports in the north and south of the country. We are on track to achieve our 2025 visitor target of 2.3 million tourists. The first quarter of this year, arrivals reached to 777,220 tourists, representing a 7.3% increase compared to the same time last year. And we reached 1 million visitors in record time this year. Last month we reached. So recently the President Dr. Mohammad Muiz made 2 key announcements that may be of interest here. First, introduction of targeted concession and incentives to unlock the tourism potential in atolls that are currently have few resorts. Secondly, to facilitate halal tourism and be a leader and benchmark in this. For both policy goals, we will be pursuing multi-pronged approach of targeted concessions and incentives, coupled with ongoing public sector investment into infrastructure, human capitalism, and destination marketing. The first policy I've just outlined focuses on 6 atolls, that is Ha'alif, Hadal, Shaviani, Tha Atoll, Lam, and Addu City. Each offers pristine natural environments and significant long-term value for sustainable tourism. To encourage private sector participation in these emerging destinations, the government has introduced a comprehensive package of investment concessions. This includes reduction in lease acquisition costs, flexible lease payment plans, expanded duty exemptions for construction, and deferral and waivers and rent waivers for projects that being operational before the grace period. These measures are not only financially attractive, but also provide operationally flexible for resort developers. For the second policy, the government also taking deliberate steps to diversify Maldives tourism offering through facilitating halal tourism. One island in each of the 6 atolls that I have mentioned, 6 targeted islands have been designated for the development of Muslim-friendly resorts, with exclusive incentives provided to support this segment. This again includes flexible payments options, additional reduction in lease acquisition cost, increased duty exemptions for construction, and rent waivers for projects that begin operation before the grace period. Finally, the target measures reflect the government's commitment to support inclusive, culturally sensitive tourism development and position the Maldives as an emerging destination for halal-conscious travelers. For investors, this represents an opportunity to lead in a growing global market segment with strong demand, particularly with the Southeast Asia and Middle East market and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you, Minister, for the very comprehensive details on the plans and the projects moving forward. I think it's very reassuring to hear about the bilateral investment treaty with Singapore, especially for the Singaporean investors investing in the Maldives. Now to try and bring in some local perspective, Mr. Siad, my next question is for you. As we talk about long-term development, public-private partnerships become very important. In your experience, what makes these partnerships work, especially in the Maldivian context?
I think there are a few really good examples of how they've worked very well, especially with our airport and the venture with SETS, where HIH and in-flight catering, there was a JV and it's still continuing. And then if you look at a couple of examples like Islamic Bank or even Dirago, historically, you come in with the right capital and expertise, and there's a transparent, good governance practice in terms of making those arrangements, then you kind of see it sustaining. But of course, there were instances where perhaps transparency was not as it should have been. But generally, I think where you have fair expectations from both parties, and there is a mutually successful path forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Siad. When we talk about long-term development with public-private partnerships, digital infrastructure will definitely play a crucial role. Mr. Khalid, as the Maldives moves towards Vision 2040, how do you see connectivity attracting investment and innovation, and also driving inclusivity in the overall growth of the Maldives?
Thank you. Nowadays, any business investor, they will not invest unless there is a very well independent technology infrastructure for them to start the business. And in Maldives, the infrastructure is one of the best in the globe if you do the benchmark. There is two operators in Maldives, Dirago and Ooredoo, and they built this network. Maldives is connected to 6 submarine cables, one of them direct to Singapore, Sri Lanka, India, and Marseille in Europe. And also the data centers, which is also very important for investment and for the future project. For us, for example, in Ooredoo, we do have our data center and our disaster recovery. And those data centers are linked with other OPCOs under Ooredoo names, under the Ooredoo groups. And whenever we do signing any deals with the hyperscalers, Maldives always will be part of this. For example, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. And the most interesting one is the last one, NVIDIA. NVIDIA have an agreement to be operated in Maldives. So tomorrow, if any investor is interested to do a project heavily independent in AI and the use of the GPUs that from NVIDIA, we are ready to do this as soon as today. So this is how the ready Maldives when it comes to technology infrastructure. Also, there is 2 points. For example, Mr. David is one of my customers, and I love this type of customer because they give a very challenging requirement. They want like a minimum number of sites for their project. So we came with an innovation called Fiber Rings, where we are connecting Batina, Ritz-Carlton, and the Staff Islands, and the new project with the lists tower as per their requirement. And also this was a secret, but I want to also let you know about it. In Maldives, we implemented something called 5G private network in one of the resort. And what is this? This is like you putting an imaginary dome on a certain areas where all the network will be covered. So what does this mean in a very simple language? There will be no requirement for all the wiring and the spaghettis and this extra cost. So the investor will be getting an advantage of this. And inshallah soon, will be the first in the world to be happening in a resort and hospitality. And inshallah, very soon, when it is complete, we will going to do a PR about it, and there is a lot of eyes from global. They want to see how this is going to work. And To do this in the Maldives, it shows how resilience is the infrastructure to do. Also, 1 month ago, the government of Maldives introduced the Maldives 2.0, which is the digital transformations in the government. And this will make a huge change for the BTC and B2B, and it will enhance the digital experience and the future in the Maldives.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid. Closely linked to connectivity is also sustainability. Mr. Adama, from your experience in the region, how are changing market trends affecting the way investors think about sustainability and resilience in the Maldives?
All banks, that also includes our Singaporean competitors and lenders, are increasingly bound by regulation. Whether it's the MES or the ECB, they want banks to become lenders to greener projects. That is all over the region in any country. One of the big interesting advantages for me, and I've observed that a couple of times also through our own lending in the Maldives, the one island, one hotel concept has interesting characteristics. You're self-sustaining in your energy production and consumption. So normally you have 5, 6, 4 diesel generators. And we like really in our financing to support solar. Because supporting solar with our loans leads to immediate replacement of diesel consumption, which is something also internally very visible and easy to argument. You lose less diesel, X number of liters saved a year, and you replace it by solar. That's a very powerful internal argument. And I think the Maldives, and we have heard it a couple of times this morning, solar is something very powerful, very central to the politics of the government, and that really distinguishes the Maldives. Any project we finance, we will ask, how much is your solar content? Can we give you a couple of extra millions in financing to install more solar? One interesting debate that is still ongoing, can you put solar on the roofs of the villas? Or is that distracting to the customers? You only keep it on the back of house? Can you use lagoons? So solar is one of the very central distinguishing factors in sustainability for us. Smaller initiatives we like, purify your own water. I think that is also very different to what I see in other tourism centers. Replace straws, plastic straws with paper. All of these measures create a picture also not only for the bank and the regulator, but also for the consumer, that the money they are spending on is aligned also with maybe their personal goals.
Thank you, Mr. Adama. You're absolutely right. For a small island nation like the Maldives, where most of our energy production is met through diesel, solar production and renewable energy has become very important. And as you all would have seen, we just signed the first SEZ project to deliver 100 megawatt of floating solar in the Maldives. This is also closely aligned to President Moise's Vision 2040. So my next question to Mr. Zhang, President Moise has laid out a comprehensive plan for the country to become a developed nation by 2040. How do you see this vision creating new opportunities in the real estate and tourism sector? And what are those lessons that can be drawn from your current project in the Maldives towards this vision?
We see everything working really well together. I think the idea is that tourism will always be a fundamental pillar, I think, for the Maldives, but it's also to just expand that into other areas to allow the vision for 2040 to happen. So anything that connects the Maldives more with the international community, more seamlessly, more easily, will definitely be a boost to tourism. So one of the things we discussed at our table was the new airport, which is opening this month. Clearly, that is going to provide greater access, greater capacity and greater ease of just traveling to the Maldives, which should increase the tourism. We're very excited about the new initiatives going into digital payments and infrastructure as well. It allows international travelers, once again, to just remove the friction of using the payment platform in their own home country, also in the Maldives. Anything that can facilitate greater connectivity and also less friction with regards to transacting in the Maldives is wonderful. We think that they will continue to expand the demand for tourism in the Maldives. And with that, that will bring in new developers who are excited about the opportunity, who we hope will continue to innovate to meet the growing demands and the changing demands of the market. And I think that's where the innovation is going to happen in terms of tourism services that are currently not there, but will be required to meet these demands. And that, I think, will really help the tourism sector in the Maldives as an attractive destination continue to just grow and change and evolve with changing trends in the world. So we're very excited to see everything come together. I think for us, we have a lot of lessons learned developing in the Maldives. Firstly, developing something so in such an environmentally sensitive and delicate environment really required us to also just think about new technologies. How do we develop? How do we incorporate more prefabrication? How do we use materials which are have less of a carbon impact? And how do we develop that in probably one of the most sensitive marine life regions of the world? And how do we protect that? How do we restore that? How do we look at new technologies in terms of how to bring that coral back into life? So it's very exciting for us. We think it's a wonderful opportunity to see the country continue to expand and grow, and we think all of that will continue to support the continuous development of tourism in the Maldives. I think it'll continue to be one of the top destinations in the world for luxury premium travel. And as I mentioned earlier, I see that also evolving with more conferences and discussions and groups going to the Maldives, not just for leisure, but actually for a more specific practical purpose to either study marine life, changing climate conditions, and also looking to see how new research and new projects evolve and develop over time so that they can also learn for their own countries as well.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. With a lot of these new opportunities and new projects coming up, Minister Thorik, there also comes the responsibility to develop sustainably given the small island concept and of the Maldives. What are the government's plans to balance high-value tourism growth while driving environmental sustainability?
That's a good question. Yeah, Maldives is a small island development state, and everything we do is habit sustainability embedded on everything we do across the board. And as just now, and we also now take very seriously on the spatial planning aspect, which will enable distributed tourism benefits across all the atolls. And I just wanted to highlight what Adam just now said on the renewable energy, especially solar. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz he announced on COP28 that 33% of the renewable energy, 33% of the energy, electricity created in the Maldives or produced in the Maldives has to be 33% of that electricity has to be from renewable energy by 2028. So this work we have started like it's almost 1.5, it's going to be 2 years. Last 2 years we have achieved from 2028 up to today, we have installed 20 megawatts in the country, renewable energy. But having said that, the main stumbling block is the financing of renewable energy. So it was, I think, heartened to hear that what you have said just now. I think if you have good financing opportunities, especially for the resort sector, if the resort sectors can achieve the 33% with the financing available, so then I think we will get to that target very fast. Resort sector represents about 250 megawatts install capacity, and then the rest is another 250 megawatts. Total of around 500 megawatts are here in the Maldives right now installed. So I think we are, on the public sector, we are trying to have a lot of different programs to install solar panels, but I think if we can really focus on the renewable energy on the resort sector with the financing, because it's easy for the resorts to get the financing. The other day I was at Mandu, where you have your development. I saw the 3 megawatt plant there. So I think a lot of private sector investments are going into the renewable energy. So that I think we need to continue. And if we continue this, we will definitely save a lot on the import of fossil fuel, diesel fuel. We have around 13 to 15% of our GDP is spent on importing fuel. So if we can actually spend that money on some other development areas, then it will be better for our country. So that is one area that I would like to highlight. And then the other area is that the resorts has been maintaining their reef, lagoon and reef very well. So that's the thing. I think we need to continue that and have we are planning to have a certification process where if each resort can maintain the reef system to a certain degree, so that we will be able to certify that resort as an environmentally sustainable or environmental badge will be given. So that way we can actually improve the sustainability when the resort operators, plus you will have a marketing opportunity. And then one more important thing is we have not talked about is the waste management. One of the biggest issues that we face in the Maldives, be it in the resort sector or on the islands, 182 islands we have inhabited islands, and 170 resorts are there. One of the important environmental issue, and to be sustainable, we need to have a very effective waste management system within the islands. So our President, Dr. Mohamad Muiz, one of the pledges by end of this year on all the local islands, 182 islands, that we are now developing waste management centers with the proper equipments for them to manage the waste within the island. So, but that's not all, because each island, small islands, we cannot manage the waste properly, so we need to take out the waste and then manage in the central location. So we are doing that as well. However, in the resorts can only open with an incinerator in the island. But I think we need to still think further on how well are you doing that. So I think interestingly, I think if you can actually have more focus on segregation, proper segregation and management of these incinerators, I think we will get to the stage where we have a long-term environmental sustainability on even in waste management. And we have touched on the water production. There's also, each island has its own water production or desalination plant. And this is very costly again, to run this. So I think some islands, very few islands, we have seen integrated water resource management, which means you harvest rainwater, you do the desalinated water, and then also you use the harness solar power to run the RO plant. So this can be integrated, and I think in the future resorts must also try to see integrated water resource management is something that you could look in, especially the new developments when you are doing the design, specifically for if you can do the design to harness rainwater, then it can be done. And then we also have just now heard that whether the only the back of house can have the solar panels, or why not we have the front of house rooms, the solar panels. I think your rooms, you have the front of house, but it was designed that way. So I think we need to have good designers and also include our local architects, engineers on this, so that you can actually enhance the design. We have a lot of good engineers, architects even here. So I think we should encourage them to give their input on this, and definitely we will have a very long-term environmental sustainability if we do all these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. It's very heartening to hear how passionate you are about balancing environmental sustainability with tourism growth. Mr. Siad, Villa Group has grown from a strong tourism foundation to a diversified business. How has this long-term multi-sectoral approach helped you build lasting partnerships, and how do you see it contributing to the growth and development agenda of the country?
I think often of the times when we invested in new industries, we really relied on different partners coming on board. Earlier, when we initially built Sun Island, there was a lot of development capital which came in with IFC. When we built our fuel infrastructure, gas infrastructure, there was support from other development banks as well. I think it's essential, especially if you want to do things which are new, because you are relying on expertise which you often may not have. So you rely on others to get that expertise to sequence and progress to achieve the visions which you have. So I think in terms of setting up partnerships for success, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, transparency, shared value system, kind of similarly shared vision, general direction heading in the same way helps a lot and is essential. I think generally, in terms of also what I want to add is it's also good to have key pre-agreed things initially in terms of what happens if someone wants to exit, how are they going to do that, and so on and so forth. But again, going back to what you were saying, to develop these different sectors, what we understand as a group is the Maldives and the resources which the Maldives has, and some limitations, but we do see them as opportunities, using resources to achieve different things. So at the moment, our biggest focus is on aviation side, where we are looking to see how we can develop key infrastructure that supports the general connectivity in the Maldives. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siad. As we begin to close, I have this last question to you, Mr. Khalid. Looking ahead, which areas of investment and innovation do you think will be the most transformative for the Maldives in the coming decade, especially considering Vision 2040 of President Dr. Moise?
Sure. The Maldives is still a green field for investment, and the door is still widely open for people to come and invest in the Maldives. I'm not talking only in hospitalities. There is the market, Maldives is still a demanding market. The demand is higher than supply. So we should not also consider investing in the hospitality, as there is so many field and segment, from energy, from suppliers, from so many things that could be also to be invested. For example, Ooredoo came as an investment to the countries, and next month we are celebrating 20th being in the Maldives. So, but it's still, until today, it still is very promising markets. The stabilities and the government support, and this is what any investor will be looking for, is available in the Maldives.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid. We have almost come to the end of the session now, but before we end, I would like to ask one question from all the private sector panelists here, especially the foreign panelists. What is the single most important factor that has helped you build a successful partnership in the Maldives? Mr. Zhang, would you like to go first?
Single most important factor. I would say to have a long-term vision of what you want to achieve and work in partnership with the local community.
Thank you. Mr. Adama, would you like to?
I stay with the business. Credit is the Latin word for trust, and trust is one of the most important aspects for me. I'm only traveling and doing business in the Maldives for about 7 years now, but I've always felt welcome, not only by the government, but also by local businessmen. And we make it a point that we are there 4 or 5 times a year, not always only me, but different people from the team, and trust and the development of trust and meeting people, looking at the assets is one of the most important things for me.
Thank you. Mr. Khalid?
In a short term, Maldives is not a complicated place to do a business or to investment. So all the critical things that any investor would like to have in one place, I think Maldives is giving those. So what else you could ask for?
Thank you very much. Thank you all the panelists for your valuable time and the very productive discussions. It's been an honor for me to moderate this session, and I hope the audience will be taking back with them a more deeper understanding of the prospects and possibilities to invest in the Maldives. Thank you all very much, and wish you all a very pleasant day ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Noha, and our panelists for the engaging session. Distinguished guests, this concludes the formal proceedings of the Maldives-Singapore Business Forum. We extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the President, the Honorable Ministers, our esteemed panelists, and our valued partners, the Singapore Business Federation and Hotels and Resorts Investments. We also thank all distinguished participants for your presence and engagement in today's forum. The meaningful discussions and agreements reached today reflect the strength and immense potential of Maldives and Singapore's economic cooperation. Thank you for being part of this historic occasion. We look forward to the continued growth and the deepening of our partnership. Thank you.